Welcome into the Players Table, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. Casey Phillips here, joined by our incredible guest, Chris Godwin Jr. Chris, thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah, appreciate you for having me.
I appreciate you coming in. I know things have been rough. Game was rough. Tell me at this point for you guys, just kind of let's start with this game, just the big picture takeaways now going into this week, knowing you don't have a lot of time to digest it before moving on, but what are the things you feel like y'all are going to need to digest to be able to move forward?
I think the biggest thing is just, like, we have to just do a significantly better job of executing. Like, I feel like we've done all of the talking that we can do, like, in terms of trying to, like, motivate guys or whatever. Like, we still have an opportunity to win the division, and, like, it's do or die now, right? Like, it's a playoff game. Any game that we play from this point forward is a playoff game, and we have to have the right sense of urgency and intensity, you know, going into those games. And yeah, I think if we could just execute on a consistent basis, I think we like where we stand. We just haven't been able to put together like 60 minutes in over a month now.
What was kind of the message from coach or amongst other teammates of what everybody is kind of saying to each other and what coach said to you guys after the game?
I think it's mostly that, right? Like we're still in control of, of things that are in front of us, and like sometimes it might not feel like we're that close, but we are, right? And it'll be a handful of plays or like a possession or two where things just look like really flat or like on all sides of the ball. We're just like, what's happening? But if we're able to like just tighten up the screws on some of the details, I think we'll like the result. But we just gotta, like, everyone's gotta believe and everyone's gotta like just give it their best effort.
Is it a weird place to be in where every week it has felt like, oh, this is a must-win game, and yet somehow even when you don't win it, it becomes like you're still in it? Like, is it? Yeah. What's kind of the weird mental part of that, and just the effect on the approach, knowing that, like now it really is one game, and what that means in these last few weeks? It's
incredibly weird, but I think like the takeaway for me is like we just like you gotta focus on like what you can control. Like if we just handle our business, like whatever else will happen outside of that, like we'll handle it when we get there. But like being so focused on like, because it's been a couple of weeks now where you're like, oh, like if we win these couple games, then you win a division or whatever. But that hasn't gotten us anywhere. It's like if you're too focused on the past or the future, you're gonna miss whatever's happening right now in the present. And so we just gotta be where our feet are and just execute on that day.
For you now, at this stage in your career, knowing who you are for this team, what do you view as your leadership role, or the way you try to approach the part you can control, what your role is outside of just the doing your job X's and O's wise? What do you kind of view as the role you can play in trying to motivate the team or get them where they need to be?
I feel like for me, I do a lot of just like talking to guys individually, like especially offensively. Like I just try to like just be a positive voice in guys' ears. Like I try to emphasize the power of like us as a unit, right? And like pulling a rope in the right direction. Like it doesn't matter what point in the game that we're at. It's like we still have a chance right here. Like this will be the drive that sparks it for us or whatever. Or like I try to like hype guys up whenever they make good plays. If they make a bad play, I'm like, bro, you're good. Like you're gonna make the next one. So I really just try to be as positive like as I can, and like that's just me naturally, because it's also like how I think about the game. Like you really never know like what play will be the one to turn it around. Like even like last game, like we didn't do much of anything offensively in the second half, and like our last drive, like I have the big play and then get the PI on Mike, and then he scores the next play, and we have a chance at an onside kick, and Chase kicks a great one. Like you can't ask for much more from an onside kick perspective, and like they just the guy made the play, and if he tipped it or whatever, then we have 50 seconds left to go down and try to win the game. And if we do that, things feel a little bit different. And so like that's what I mean. It's like you never know how close you are to like to turning the tide. And so I kind of take that approach with guys and just try to continue to like encourage them.
I know the outcome for the team wasn't what we wanted, but great game for you individually. Your first 100-yard game of the season, and your target to catch, rating was unbelievable. And what do you feel like it was about this particular game, or how you feel, or what was going on that led to the individual success for you?
I think it was just mostly just like the way that the game was kind of going. Because it wasn't like I didn't have like a ton of production like early in the game. Like I scored on the first drive and like that was nice, but I didn't like it wasn't a ton really. I mean, offensively, really in the first half. And so it was kind of like weird. It's like a bit of like a lull, like a gap in the middle of the game where I didn't really get targeted a ton. But just like that was just the way the game was flowing. And then the last two drives, I got a ton of targets.
Yeah, that last drive was like the Chris Godwin drive.
Yeah, and I think like positionally, but also like just how I play, I feel like in like no huddle situations and like 2-minute situations, it provides an opportunity for me to get more targets, and I feel like I'm like really like locked in on those in those times. Like you're not doing a ton of thinking about what defenses they may run. Like you're not overly trying to scheme things. It's just like go, and like react and do your job. And so I was pleased about that because we executed those at like a pretty high clip. But just, I mean, 100-yard games are like good performances don't feel the same when you don't win, especially in like the something that we're in right now. But I am grateful for it. It's because we've talked about this in the past. It's been a long road, and like every kind of milestone that I hit, it feels like a big step in the right direction to like returning to the form that I'm accustomed to like making some of the plays that I'm accustomed to making, just on a more consistent basis.
We're talking to Chris Godwin Jr. You mentioned the certain game situations that really help you thrive individually. You've had a lot of different offensive coordinators, systems. You've been used a lot of different ways. What have you learned over the years about what makes you thrive holistically in an offense?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
It's almost as if you
it's as if that's what I'm paid to do.
Yeah. I think, well, I pride myself on just being a versatile player. Like schematically, but also just like practically. Like obviously I like blocking. I've done that my whole career. I like making contested catches. I also love wide open catches too, so that's pretty sweet.
Those are handy.
But I think just like for me, I try to just present myself as like a viable threat, regardless of like the coordinator and like quarterbacks, right? I try to do a good job with my body language when I'm running my routes, because I feel like one of the toughest things that you can do as a receiver is fool the quarterback. And so like when I'm like making my breaks, when I'm coming out of them, I try to be in a position where they can read what I'm doing, so it's not any confusion. And I think that increases my chances of not only getting the ball, but when they throw me the ball, of it being completed. And so I try to be really intentional about that. And I also just do a lot of communicating with the quarterback to just figure out like what are you seeing? Because I see it from my perspective, but like there will be times where like I'm open, and the ball doesn't come to me, and then we don't get anything on the play. And then I go look at the film, and it's like, oh well, there was a guy like in Big's face when he was about to throw it, or like in the Falcons game, like I was open on a play that was designed to go to me. He goes to throw it. The safety kind of flashes because they were like running like alert coverage. He flashes like trying to jump it. Big sees it, pulls it down, and then has to go somewhere else. So I try to communicate with the quarterbacks to just like get a feel for like what they're seeing and how like what I can do to help their lives be a little bit easier, or to like help us get on the same page a little bit better. Which
is why every quarterback loves playing with you. That's for sure. How about your touchdown? Tell us what you did so well there and what worked on that play.
I think the best thing that I did there was I learned from a previous mistake. So that play that we ran, I was a very similar play to in the Cardinals game. So in that game, I had like a catch down the left sideline, and then later on that drive in the red zone, it was a similar play around like an in route, and I had thought that I was like second or third in the progression, but based on a certain coverage, I could be first. And so I kind of like was trying to work the defender a little bit more at the top than I needed to. And so when I came out of the break, as soon as I turned my head, the ball was there and like hit me in my arm. I was like, I know that wasn't the ball.
It wasn't time for the ball.
Like the ball could not have come to me this quickly.
Yeah.
And so we were talking about it on the sideline, and they were like, yeah, like when it looks like this, like you go from being like 2 or 3 to like 1, like 1A, 1B. And so I kind of stored that, and we ran a similar play yesterday. And it's a similar coverage. And so I'm I'm not gonna make that same mistake again. And so I just like sped up my process, and I expected the ball, and me and Baker were on the same page. So I think that's the best thing about that.
Wow,
play.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And do you feel like at this point is that where it's like the chemistry between you and Baker, and then also Josh Grizzard, of like those nuances of having a new coordinator, where even though it's maybe the offense didn't change a ton, there are still some of those little things that just take time, and with you missing time, you feel like now y'all are really kind of hitting at that chemistry point?
Yes, I would say like that plays a part of it, because there is like a bit of chemistry involved in like not only like quarterback to receiver, but also in play caller, like because it's the play caller's job to be like to get the players in position to make the plays, right? And I feel like sometimes people can look at it as just being like as if it's Madden, and you can just
dial up whatever,
call up whatever plays you want to call, or like you have a ton of weapons, so like it should be easy, but like everybody doesn't execute that the exact same way, or like they don't thrive in the exact same like setting. So as a play caller, you have to be able to figure out, like, learn your guys and figure out like, okay, well, is this person a high volume guy? Like, do they have to be involved earlier in the game? What types of targets do they like? And then you pair that with like what the quarterback likes, and then when that all meshes, then you have like a really good situation. And so just part of me kind of coming back, it's like partly me like getting better, or like getting closer to being like my physical form. But then again, it's also getting on the same page with Bake and Grizz in terms of the things that I like and how that pairs with what they're trying to do as well.
Yeah, it's almost like a psychology element to it as well, which is really interesting. I never thought about that side of it. Also in the game, not only you, but Jalen McMillan, 100-yard game, his first of his career high in catches and yards. What did you see Jalen doing so well in that game, and why this one lent itself to seeing the Jalen we all knew he could be?
I feel like the best thing that he did yesterday, I thought he played with a really, really good like intensity. And that was like from the beginning. Like you can tell that he was excited to like get the ball. And I feel like you can tell with guys when they're running their routes. Like sometimes guys will run a route and it won't seem like they're trying to get the ball. Like, I'm just running my route because this is the route that I have to run. And then there's other times where you can tell that there's like an increased sense of urgency. And like there was a couple like crossing routes that he had where like he's like running to get the ball, and he was intentional. Like it was like a low ball. He like caught it sliding, and he pops up and he's ready to do something else with it. So like you can tell he was like energized, and like he was very enthused about what he was doing. And I was impressed with his intensity yesterday. And actually earlier today I was thinking, because I saw he had 100 yards, and I was like, I wonder if that's his first one. So I'm glad to know that. Like, that's very sick.
Yep, first one. Yeah. I love that. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the Players Table, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. We're talking to Chris Godwin Jr. This is Buccaneers Radio. Welcome back into the Players Table, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. Casey Phillips here with Chris Godwin Jr. We talked a little bit about the injury and coming back from it, and just how you just had to deal with this so much in your career now, which is just heartbreaking for all of us fans who love watching you play. And at this point, I wanted to hear a bit about which injury was the toughest, either to go through and rehab or to come back from, and just how you kind of rank the different things you've had to go through at this point.
I think so. With this last one, like with the fib, I think when it first happened, I was under the impression that it was going to be easier than the knee. I think partially because growing up, like I think up until like maybe like a decade ago, like ACL injuries were like, man, like we don't know if this guy's gonna come back.
Yeah.
And then obviously more and more guys like started doing it, so it wasn't as bad. But to me, I'm like that's a catastrophic injury. And don't get me wrong, it was. Like,
yeah.
And so I thought that, because I think like initially it was like maybe like 4 to 6 months, right? But this is before they got in to see what was going on. Turns out pretty bad. And so I think because of that, I just kind of thought that it was going to be an easier recovery because the timeline was shorter. But just like you have complications, and it's just like a long road, and like I feel like when you think something's going to be easier, like life's going to teach you a lesson. So I think ultimately it like this one ended up being worse than the knee, but just like from like the total rehab like perspective, just me and my like it took longer, so it was like mentally draining. It was physically difficult, and rehabs in general are just like it's just a lonely process, and there's no way around it. Like people, like nobody can help you. It's like it's a sole reflection on like how much you put into it, but also just like your body's capacity to heal. And a lot of times that can be very frustrating. And if you aren't in the right mental space, then it can be even tougher. Because again, like every part of the process that you're going through, like essentially like by yourself, like people are there to support you. Like don't get me wrong, but in terms of actually doing the work, it's just you. And after doing a major rehab already, it's like it gets even more exhausting because it's like, damn, like I have to rebuild myself from scratch again. And it's really hard to be an elite athlete. Like I'm sure a lot of people know that, but it's like until you have to do it again and then do it again, it's like, man, like it gets really tough. But I think it really just shows you just how much you care about something. It gives you like a new perspective on like and a new appreciation for it. So again, I try to look at things in life, like everything that happens to me is like for the betterment of myself in some way. And I never really know how that's going to like manifest, but I trust that like that is the case. Like who knows, like maybe there'll be some player down the road that I'm able to like impact and like in a positive way. Like perfect example, when it was like OTAs or maybe it was like minicamp when the rookies got here and you kind of like meet guys throughout like as they kind of like get here, and I wasn't really like with the team and practices and stuff. I was still doing rehab, and Benjamin Morrison was in the training room, and I had just met him like the day before or whatever. And then so the next day I see him again. He says, CG, he said, I want to tell you something. I was like, what's up, man? He said, after you got hurt like with your ankle and then you got on the cart and you're like back to work, he was like, like that like really, really inspired me, man, because he was going through like his own injury like shortly after. And he was like, that really inspired me to go through my rehab process. So like, I appreciate you. And it's like stuff like that. I'm like that's pretty damn cool. Wow. And because obviously I wasn't like, that was how I felt in the moment.
You didn't even know him yet.
I didn't know him, but like, nor did I know anybody was watching. But that was just like how I felt in the moment. And for that to help somebody, it's like I never know like how it will show up. So I'm grateful for that journey. But to answer your question, the ankle was worse in that way. But in terms of like returning back to form, I think it's been a little bit better than the knee. Just like proximately, like where it's at. Yeah. Like the knees is like you feel the load a little bit more.
You know, you mentioned that you learn what matters, what's important, what motivates you in those moments. What did you learn about that for you in the process? What did you learn is your motivator? What is it that made you want to do this this many times?
I think the first thing that really stood out to me was just like I really love playing football. And as you get into being a professional, it's because like in high school and like high school is like the purest form almost, right? Like it's truly the love of the game, like Friday Night Lights type of stuff. And then college is pretty much like it's similar. Like it's like I would say like a step down in terms of like the motivation for guys, because a lot of guys want to go to the NFL and like you're on the doorstep depending on where you're at, and then you make it to the league and now it's a business. And so everyone has different things that motivate them. Like some guys are in it just for the money. Some guys are in it to just support their families. Some guys just want the fame. Like, and then there are like other guys who really love playing the game. And I think that like that's where I fall, because if I found that if I did not love it, then why put myself through it again?
Yeah.
You know, like why not just be like, all right, like I've had enough. And also when I was going through the beginning part, like I couldn't stay away from the game. Like I was watching every single game that we were playing. Like I think I went to the next game, the next home game. I think it was like the Falcons game. I'm on a scooter in a ton of pain. I'm sitting in the booth just because I want to be around the guys. I want to be around the game, and like I was just like itching. I'm just like, man, I just can't wait to be back out there again. And so I think that's probably like the biggest thing like that I learned. And then I would say following that, just how resilient my body is as a whole. Like it's just when I look at it, I've put it through so much, as do all guys that play, that play this game. But I have a very like resilient body, and my mind is resilient and is strong, and I'm grateful for that, because I'm not sure how many people would be fine going through what I've gone through, but also like have the approach that I have. And again, I don't know where that was created, but I'm grateful that that's my existence.
We're talking to Chris Godwin Jr. How about the re-signing with the team, and in the midst of not knowing how you would come back, take me through that process of the decision to stay here, and then just what it meant to you to have the Bucs, offer you that kind of offer in the midst of being injured.
Yeah, it was an interesting process, because I think this is probably like the first time that I was actually like a free agent, like where I had like the choice to go somewhere else. And it was a long process, and like me and Mariah, we had tons of talks. But I think like what it just boiled down to was just like how we, like our comfort level, right? Like I think that, and I think I mentioned this in my press conference, I'm sure there would have been like 9 out of 10 guys would have probably made a different decision. But I've never moved that way. Like I've never moved based on what somebody else would do. Because similarly to what I was saying with like rehab, and it's just you like that has to go through it. Like every day, like you're the one that has to lay your head on your pillow like at night and be okay with your decisions. You have to look yourself in the mirror and like what looks back at you. And so I couldn't make my decision based on what somebody else would do. And what I felt like was right for me and my family was to be here, right? Like we have a ton of people here that not only have we built relationships with, and we've like planted our roots here in Tampa, but like we love it here. We love the people here. Everyone's always treated us with a ton of respect and a ton of love, and it's a comfort thing for us. And I think that when I evaluate things in terms of decision making, I try to look at, like, it's easy to look at things in like best case scenario is, like best case scenario, you go somewhere else, you make a ton of money and you win championships or whatever, and you're super happy. Well, like life always throws curveballs. So like what's the worst case scenario? Like if the worst case scenario was to happen, like what would you be more upset by? Like in terms of like the two decisions. And it's like, well, like I was like, if I stay here in Tampa and we're a terrible team these 3 years, and like I don't do the things that I hope to do, like would I be happy with my decision versus the other? And I'm like, well, the decision was very clear to me. Like it was about more than football. It's about relationships. It's about comfort level. Not just chasing a buck.
And I imagine also just during all of this time, you end up having like a weird amount of free time during the rehab. Like you're spending a lot of time rehabbing. Yeah. But then there's a lot of time that you're just like, you can't do a whole lot. For you, what was what did you spend your time doing? What did that look like when you aren't rehabbing, what were you doing?
Well, when I was this time when I was rehabbing, when I wasn't rehabbing, I was being dad. And that's been like source of like one of my biggest joys of my life. Like it's been like I wanted to be a dad like for a few years, and again grateful to have.
You've been giving dad vibes a long
for
time.
A while.
You're an old man
like,
already,
so
you really needed to get this for the title because you just were already in that dad zone. Yeah, we had to make it where it made sense.
And but it's been such a treat, man. Like he's Ace is just such a like a cool like soul, and
I mean, he had to be like you and Mariah, like
yes,
the coolest parents.
Yeah. And he's like, I don't know, like it's funny because every night we just like we'll put him to bed, and like you finally get a few hours where it's just you two, and like you can decompress a little bit, like no one's holding him, and like we're like, wow, this is great. We eat, and then we're just looking at videos of him while he's upstairs sleeping. Like this is like our nightly ritual, and we just sit there and laugh,
just talking about him,
just talking about him, like just can't believe like that he's a real person, and like now he's getting like he has like his own opinions and stuff. Like he's like denying food. Like we'll put a couple of things down like on his plate, and like he'll pick through the things that he wants based on his preferences. I'm like, when did you get preferences?
When did you get preferences?
And so that's what
great.
I was. So I was in the early stages of parenting and like learning that process, and that was interesting. Just kind of like being hobbled while trying to help like Mariah like throughout her like just like this postpartum and like us learning how to be parents together. But that was a ton of my time. And outside of that, I try to take some photos. I take some pretty good photos.
Yeah.
Me and Mariah were just talking about that this morning, because like I tend to downplay things. Like I don't give myself the same credit that I give other people with things, and so this is a shout out to her because I do take good photos, and I was taking photos of like Ace and just like of like her and stuff, and so I do that and read a little bit, but I love playing video games too.
Yeah.
She hates that I do it. She's like, Chris, you're almost 30. When are you gonna stop playing video games? I said, never.
Never. I didn't know there was an expiration date.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, apparently 30 was it. I think there's a lot of over 30-year-olds watching this right now being like, wait, what?
I told I'm like, this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. You think it's kids that are funding this? No, absolutely not.
It's people who have their own discretionary spending.
Absolutely.
What's the game of choice?
Historically, it's been Call of Duty. But right now there's a new game out called Arc Raiders, and I've been on that for a bunch. Sometimes like I'll play, like me and my cousin will play, it's a golf game, PGA 2K25. That's pretty sweet. It's a lot. It's like a nice little decompression for me.
Say those, it's quite a range of games too.
I've learned I'm a pretty like versatile person. Like
even in the video game world.
Like my YouTube algorithm is crazy. Like it would be like some
like
outdoor survival stuff, and then like a photography video, and then like a random podcast, like movie trailers. I'm very interested in what's going on in this world.
You have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
We have a lot of questions. All right, we're going to take another break here on the Players Table, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. We're talking to Chris Godwin Jr. This is Buccaneers Radio. Welcome back into the Players Table, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. Casey Phillips here, talking to Chris Godwin Jr. So, while you were going through the rehab, I know you and Mike would never want to see each other injured. Mm-hmm. But if you had to be injured together, I imagine that was a little bit of solace of being able to be there for each other now last year and this year at the same time. What is that like to be going through it together with your guy and just watching the way that he approached it and just kind of dealing with that together?
It's just very interesting because, I mean, for whatever reason, we like doing this. Like we like both of my season-ending injuries. Like he hurt his hamstring the same time.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
Yeah, I'm like, we got to stop doing that. Like that's something we can just cut out right now. Yeah. And then with his shoulder this year, like just seeing him, like that was my first time like really like getting to see him like work through just like a rehab process. And like, I mean, Mike is Mike, and I'm like, I want to say I was surprised by it, but I don't think I am. Like he just always like finds ways to like do things at an elite level. Like came back earlier than people expected him to, and immediately like massive game, like doing Mike things of like, were you ever hurt? Because it's not supposed to look like this. And he's in the locker room like, man, like just pissed. I was like, bro, you had a great game. He said, nah, I was all right. I said, you played like 20 snaps and had like
136 yards.
Like stop. Like that's not how things work for regular people, man.
Yeah.
But
he probably forgets occasionally what mortal humans are like, that he's like,
yeah, like, but he's it was interesting to just like get to see him like work through the process. Like it was very cool to see. Like I'm proud of him. Like proud that he's able to make it back too. Like and just playing like at the level like that he plays. Like it's Mike's an impressive person, and like I'm grateful to get to kind of see everything up close.
It's funny because every time you do something else, there will be some stat of Chris now has X touchdowns, yards, this, that, second only to Mike Evans. every single time.
Every single time.
If Mike didn't exist, you would have every record.
Yeah.
Does it help that you do really like him and that you all have played together and that you actually enjoy him? Or like, what is that like for you to experience this feeling of like, if it's going to beat anyone, I'm happy it's Mike, but also like, is it wild that just no matter what you do, it's like Mike has just done so much?
Well, I mean, truthfully, I never really think about it. Like, so I guess if I was to, I think that it helps that we're playing at the same time. Because it makes it much easier to like root for him. Like, there's not like remotely like any form of like competition or like animosity or anything towards him like that. That just seems so like silly to me, and I think that's partially or largely why like we've been able to like play together for so long. Like we're not your typical or your stereotypical like diva receivers. Like because if we were or if one of us was, then we wouldn't have made it this far. Like I would have been gone by now. I need my own team or whatever other dumb things that guys say, like because they're fueled by like their ego. But to me, it's like I look at it like the tandem that we are and like have been like is like the reason why the team has been able to have like some of the success like that we've had. Like it makes both of our lives like respectively easier, but it's also just like a lot of fun. Like it's enjoyable to get to play with somebody that can play at a high level, but also like for this long. And it's like for whatever reason I've been able to understand and like everybody has a role, and regardless of like what you want your role to be, like everyone has a role, and if you can star in that role, then like you can just like things can just be much more like enjoyable for you as opposed to like trying to play somebody else's role or trying to do or be bigger than like you are. Like I'm just trying to be the best version of me, and that's always worked for me. So I'm gonna do that. Like I'm not out here like, oh, I need to be the first in team history. Like you seen what this guy's done. that's crazy. I'm happy with like the things that I've been able to accomplish. Like I've been fortunate to be able to do that. Like I was telling somebody the other day, I wasn't sure how long I wanted to play. Like when I first got in the league, I was like, man, if I can get 8 years, like that would be pretty sick. Like league average, like 3.5 years, that'd be pretty sweet. And I got to 8, and I was like, dog, there's no way I'm ready to be done now. And so like I'm just happy to be doing this. Like it's just such a blessing. Like I'm just so fortunate to be in this position. Like I say this every day. Like I can't believe that this is my existence. That I get to do something. I dreamed about this when I was a kid. Like I'm watching the 50th season documentary. Like me and Mariah were on episode I think we just got done episode 6. Nice. And so, but I was a Bucs fan like growing up, so I watched a bunch of this stuff. Like I watched it happen. I remember like Rondé shutting down the vet rather, and like I remember seeing those things and watching. I'm like, man, like I want to do that one day. Like that was kind of like the birth of me wanting to play in the NFL and to be here and like specifically with this organization. Like how sick is that? That
is really cool. Like, and you have done what he's done. Like, which is crazy.
Which is is even crazier.
So you mentioned the whole like, oh, I'm not even remotely ready to be done. For you, when would you know you were done, or what are the things that you feel like you still want to accomplish as you look at however many years left you have? What is that for you? What are those things that you either need to accomplish, or what would make your decision to be done someday?
I think that, well, my primary goal every year is to win the Super Bowl. Like that's all like I'm really chasing. I want to win as many as I can, like as a competitor. But I don't, Like I'm not somebody that's gonna be I'm gonna chase this until I accomplish it and then I can retire. Like this is the ultimate team game. You never know like what can happen. Like you'll be playing 40 years chasing that ring. So like it won't be like that for me. I think truthfully it'll be like if I don't feel like I can give like what's really like required on a day in and day out basis, then I think that like that's when I'd call it. And that's like, you know, like injuries, like, you know, not like involved. Like if I had a choice, that would be that like when I can't give everything like that I want to give, like, because I don't think it's fair. Like, I mean, it wouldn't be fair to my teammates. Like it wouldn't be fair to guys who like have been working their whole lives to get to this position and like waiting for like that opportunity, and now I'm just like holding on to this thing like, you know, like way too long. Like I don't think like that's right. But also like to like my family too. Like I don't see myself playing 15 years. Like I got a son that I want to raise. Like I've done a lot in this league, and I've been able to create like a great life for us, and like at some point I want to go and just like watch and like raise our son, like watch him grow and have the ability to play with him. And I don't know when that would be, but I think that would be the deciding factor for me. Is like if I can't fully give myself, then I gotta let somebody else come in and do their thing.
We're talking to Chris Godwin Jr. Thinking back to when you were a rookie, Mike was year 4. Mm-hmm. How do you see the two of you having either stayed the same or changed when you look at the two of you in terms of on and off the field, the growth and change, and the things that have stayed consistent?
I think I would say like at our cores, like we're probably the same. I think that the way that we approach the game, like our work ethics, our desire to be like to have like the best or the greatest impact that we can remains the same. But I think that like we've grown as people, like in our understanding, not only of like the game, but like life. We were able to be a part of like a championship team, and I think that you learn a lot with that. I think that you like develop the proper, I guess, like characteristics of like a winner, and to be able to help kind of like disseminate that information to like to your future teammates that might not have had that opportunity. And I think that like as like we've grown together, just like in like our like relationship and like how close we are, and yeah, I would say that.
I like that. Looking at your wide receiver room, y'all have a wide variety of personalities, I think, to
say the least.
To say the least. Tell me about the dynamics of the room and why it works so well, personality-wise.
Yeah, we have a hilarious room. Like this has definitely been one of the rooms that I've enjoyed the most just in my career. And like yeah, like it's the most talented room that we've had for sure. Like top to bottom. But you just never know what you're gonna get on a given day. Like sometimes Tez and Shep maybe get into it. Like it's like an older brother and a younger brother, like just like going back and forth with each other. Like Mech is like quietly like hilarious. Like J Mac being back, like I don't know, it's a good mix of like youth and like call it wisdom. But it's like man,
Tez is obviously the wisdom part, right?
Absolutely. Tez is he's tops of wisdom.
Tell me about his food habits. Are you jealous of this?
Am I jealous?
Yes, of his ability to like
to be able to consume anything he wants to, and then to not be
and then to go do a backflip.
Yeah, I would say like yes and like no. Like I would say yes because like it would be nice to just be able to eat whatever you want.
Yep.
but no, because like I have wisdom and I know how that impacts you.
You know that eventually that will catch up.
I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to see Tez as a 30-year-old. I need to see what he is eating, and if he is still eating the same things that he is, I'm gonna have to like slap Tez in the back of his head. Like, bro, what are you doing? Like,
see, now you do have to play 15 years because you have to be around long enough to watch.
All right,
this.
That's it.
That's our motivating factor now. We have to be around long enough to see what he eats at halftime.
But yeah, but his diet is ridiculous. I don't know if I've ever seen him eat a veggie, but you know, I don't know if he knows what veggies are. But donuts and hot dogs and hot Cheetos.
Yep.
He's gonna smash those. But more power to him. He's young. He's explosive.
Enjoy it while you can.
Enjoy it while you can.
I love it. And
such an old thing for me to say.
I know. I was gonna ask, what are the things that have made you feel old? Which, again, for the record, you are not old.
I am 29 years old.
You are not old. I would like to state that very strongly.
And I do not allow these young kids to tell me that.
Oh,
and
yeah?
You see that? I said young kids, and they're, what, 20?
Listen to this. These young whippersnappers.
Yeah, I tell you what, these young kids these days.
Get off my lawn. What are the things that make you feel older than them?
So they will, let's see. They don't have to do a ton of stretching and like warming up before practice. Like they just, like they'll be out there, like they'll do a little bit and like we'll mess around a little bit, and then they're like, bam, like full speed immediately. Sprint. Like routes on air, they are full tilt. And I'll be on mic, I'm like, man, I'd be like me, Mike and Shep. They'd be like, well, it's nice to have some juice, huh? These young guys got that juice with them. And like here we are, like, so my brother-in-law, and this was funny. It was the night game, Thursday night game. He sent me a video afterwards. He like a zoomed in video after the first possession. Me and Mike are on the sideline with the little hyper ice guns, the little hyper
gun type thing, or whatever. Yeah.
And like both of us have one, and we're just sitting there, just like gunning our legs. And like he's like, "Look at these two old guys. This is the first series, and we're coming out with, oh man, like Mike's hitting his back, I'm hitting my legs." I'm like, yo, what is going on? But I need that. That's nice. Like,
because we are old now.
Yeah, we gotta. It's like you gotta keep the engine running. You can't just let it stall.
We're sitting on a hill.
Yeah,
we gotta keep it going.
You gotta keep it going.
That's really funny. Well, and I mean, so Emeka and Tez, unbelievable in the time that you and Mike were out, and like the way they stepped up.
Absolutely.
They're just the second pair of drafted players on a team since 2000 to have at least 300 receiving yards and 5 receiving touchdowns each. To have two rookies from the same draft class do what they've done, how cool was that for you to watch, and what do you think enabled the two of them, and they're very different receivers from each other to have the kind of success they had?
Yeah, they did a phenomenal job really all year. Like they've done a really, really good job, but like specifically during the time that like me and Mike were out, like they stepped up in a big way, and that's not easy to do as a rookie, like especially like in this scheme too. Like it's a complicated offense, like it's a ton of verbiage, and it can be very, very confusing. So like for them to be able to put the time in to not only know what they're doing, but to be able to execute at a high level, like they just kind of came in and hit the ground running. And like it's really impressive. And obviously like as like Mech as a first round pick, like I'm sure a lot of people would expect like for him to come in and play, but for Tez being a 7th round pick, and he doesn't carry the confidence of somebody that was a 7th round pick. And like the way he carries himself, man, like he brings such a high energy to our group, and like he's so confident in himself, and like he's not. I don't think there's anybody that would consider Tez big, like in any place in the world. Like they're like that's an average size guy,
dude,
yeah. But he's just like he has such a big heart, and like he blocks, like he plays way bigger than his stature is. And to go out there and like he makes some big plays, like the deep catch against San Fran, like huge, like his touchdown against Detroit, like those were like massive plays. Like Mech's been making elite plays all year, and I think that the way that they just approach the game, like they have a ton of fun with it. They ask a ton of questions, like there's not like any ego behind them, and I think that's probably like the best thing about our room is like we all just want to see each other succeed. So like I'm sure like when you see them making plays on the field during that time period, I'm on the sideline like teed up, because I'm really, really happy for them, because it's hard what we do. We go through a lot, and like this is a tough game to play, and to be able to put everything you do into it and to see like the results, like it's a beautiful thing. So I'm really proud of those guys, and obviously I think they have, you know, a great future in front of them.
Yeah, I remember seeing a photo. I think it was our first home game.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt caught
the one-hand catch,
something on the sideline.
I was teed
and
up.
You were right in the background.
Yes.
And I just thought, what a cool thing. I mean, A, your love of photography, so I knew you'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
But B, like, what a perfect encapsulation of the fact that, like, you are not a person of ego, that you were so purely excited for him.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a amazing photo showing both of your strengths.
Yeah.
It showed, like, him making this great play, and for you, it showed, like, what kind of a teammate you are. Like, I thought that was a really cool encapsulation of, like, showing purely how you felt in that moment.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I do that is like how I feel. I really do want to see my guys succeed. Like, it's just like it's really like fulfilling for me, 'cause I'm like, this is their dream as well. Like, and to be here, like, I know what it's like to make big plays, and I've also seen from afar guys like on other teams, like, just be shaded by the guys that are in that room, and like, that's so corny. Like, why are you hating on like your teammate? That's so corny.
Yeah.
And I've never been that person, and I'm always show guys love like whenever like I can.
I love that. I also love the use of the word corny.
Yeah.
I feel like you are somehow both corny and swaggy at the same time, which I think is a really impressive thing to have managed.
It's very how you say it's.
You're like a corny, swaggy old man.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Okay, good. That's how I mean it. All right, we're going to take one more break here on the Players Table, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. We're talking to Chris Godwin Jr. This is Buccaneers Radio. Welcome back into the Players Table, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. Casey Phillips here with Christopher Godwin Jr. You talked about how you were watching the documentary, grew up being a Bucs fan. Like, who are some of the people you remember idolizing as a kid, either from the Bucs or other teams, like those players that you thought someday I'm gonna play like that? I
think early on, like from the Bucs, I really like Derek Brooks and like Rondé, those guys. Mike also was always fun to watch. Like, it's just like a beast of a human, just like A-Train, just like running over guys. I had like work done for a while too, and I would say as I kind of got into like middle school ish, like I really like locked in on players. Like, funny that like T.O. was one of my favorite players, and I think that's funny because like that's just like not my personality style.
Yeah.
But like he was just so damn dominant.
He was fun. Like
T.O., Chad Johnson. I liked Andre Johnson, like Fitz.
That's hilarious to have grown up liking Fitz and then getting to play.
Sorry.
Oh, Larry Fitzgerald. I just realized when I hear Fitz, I'm just
Ryan
Fitzpatrick. And I was like, well, that's interesting.
Yeah,
so I was like, I know he is a little older, but
Larry Fitzgerald, like Hines Ward, like I would say like those are some of the guys that I looked at as, even like at a young age, I'm like those are guys that I can kind of see myself as like being like the blocking types. Like they just like they're here to get their jobs done, and I like that. Like T.O. and those guys are like entertaining, but also like dominant.
Yeah.
So it was just I had a nice mix of guys that I looked up to.
I love how much you love to block, and I remember when you told me forever ago that you grew up having to play O-line because you were just a big kid. You're a big kid, so you had to be O-line. If you were to play O-line now, what position on the O-line would you want to play?
If I had to play O-line, I've seen what those guys go through. I do not want to play O-line. Do not.
You're like, I will block this DB out here.
Let's see. I think I'd probably say like guard. Give me some help. Yeah. Like, give me some help on both sides.
It's a wise move.
Like tackles, a lot of times like those guys are on like an island, and against some of the best athletes in the world. Yeah. Like guys getting paid tons of money to rush the passer, and then like center, like you got to know everything. Like you got to get everybody on the same page, and then you got to snap the ball. Like
and then still try to not get killed.
Yeah.
Cool. Most annoying thing that DBs do.
Most annoying thing that DBs do. I think there's a list of things that DBs do.
we could start the whole hour with this.
Yeah. But if I had to pick one thing, I would say like receiver gets overthrown, right? Or ball gets thrown out, just something where it's not catchable. Like DB gets beat on a route, right? Like if I run a double move, like slant, go kill the DB, ball gets overthrown. They come do their little like
celebration. Yeah,
you did nothing. Like nothing that you actually did a terrible job.
I beat you.
Like I'm 5 yards behind you. The ball the ball was overthrown, sack, whatever, and you doing like a strap. Like you did not strap anybody. Like that seatbelt is unbuckled. It's like, what are you talking about?
I love it. All right, we're talking to Christopher Godwin Jr. Hardest people to go against.
How do you mean?
Like hardest corners you've had to face, hardest, like just toughest matchups for you, not on our team, opposing teams. Who are some of the people that you're like, woo, that was tough?
Let's see. This is always a tough question for me. I think it's always tough for me because I don't necessarily I never process it that way. Like attributing things to like individual guys, because like to me, like it's the league. Like you can get got by anybody. Like if you go in thinking that a guy is like not good because he is not as known, like that'll be the guy that like straps you on the play, or like you go to block him and he'll put you on your ass, and you're like that guy is like strong. Like, but I don't know, like Jesse Bates from Atlanta, he does a really good job of getting the ball for guys. Like he got me last year. Like I had like an explosive play, went to go like make a move like this, like in Atlanta, go make the move, and he came through just punched it out, and it was like almost as if I wasn't holding the ball. Luckily Mike recovered that, so he does a good job there. I think J.C. Horn does a good job. Just like he's grown like in his first couple of years. Like he's like a good like overall corner. Who else?
Yeah, I mean those division guys, you got to face them a lot too.
So like those are like some of the guys like that I like see.
That makes
like,
sense.
Often. Yeah.
And now speaking of facing someone a lot, here we are again facing the Panthers twice in 3 weeks, which is a wild situation.
They gotta stop doing that. Like I don't like that they do. There's plenty of other times that we can play them. Like,
there's all these other games.
Like there's other like teams that do it too. It's like, why are you playing the same team twice in 3 weeks? Like,
yep.
I don't know.
And it's so that they can build this drama. That is what it is. And y'all, here we are, the dramatic final game. So tell me, what did y'all learn that last matchup? Knowing probably not a lot has changed in the last 2 weeks. What did you learn about their defense and what y'all got to focus on?
I mean, I think like that they have a good defense, and they've been playing like well all year, really, especially like the back half of the season. Their D line is like, those guys are strong, like especially like their 2 D tackles. Like they're like, I feel like that kind of what makes their defense go. Like they set the tone for them. So like being able to handle those guys is going to be like big for us. But they play with a ton of effort. Like they have like smart guys. Like I said, JC's a good player. Like their 2 safeties like do a good job like in run fitting. I think like, yeah, I mean even like Jackson, like their other corner, he's made a bunch of plays too. I think they have like guys across the whole defense that can really make plays. And I think just like as a team, like they're highly motivated right now. Like this is the closest that they've been in a few years to like making the playoffs. So I'm sure that they'll be like really amped up for that game. And just like our like learning from last game, like we just have to execute better. Like we had a chance to go down and win the game, and we didn't do it, right? Like we had a turnover, and we just can't have that. So I think just like us we have to have our intensity has to be really high, and our execution has to be like higher than theirs. So I'm excited about this opportunity. Again, it's last year this time I was watching and hoping for the chance to be back in this situation. So I'm grateful to be there.
Well, and we are all very grateful that you're back and killing it and looking like the Chris Godwin we all know and love. So, Chris, thank you so much for joining us on the show. We really appreciate it. And again, just so happy that you're back and healthy and killing it out there. And good luck this next week.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, that's going to do it for us on the Players Table, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. This is Buccaneers Radio.